Ask yourself, how would you show 3/4 on your fraction wall? Ask yourself, how would you show 4/10 on your fraction wall? Ask yourself, how would you show 7/8 on your fraction wall? Now finally, ask yourself, how would you show 5/12 on your fraction wall? I'm now going to go through the first example with you. So we're looking at 3/8 plus 4/8, and I've drawn some pictorial representations to help you. As you can see, both wholes are divided into 8 equal parts, which means in total we have some number of parts out of 8. What we need to do is, as the denominators are the same, we just need to add the numerators together. So we've got 3 plus 4, which is 7 parts out of 8. This means we've got 7/8 as the denominator has not changed, therefore the denominator stays the same. So 3/8 plus 4/8 is 7/8. Here is my second example for today. So as you can see, I've drawn a fraction bar to represent 3/8. I'm now going to add 4/8 so that my fraction bar shows 3/8 plus 4/8. I now know by looking at the fraction bar that 3/8 plus 4/8 is the same as 7/8. Have a look at the calculations at the bottom of the screen. So it's 1/4, add 2/4, 3/8 plus 3/8, and then it's 4/6 plus 2/6. Have a go at seeing if you can draw the fraction bars, which we know are pictorial representations, to solve each of these calculations. Here's the mild task for today. I've sent this sheet through to your grown-ups through parent mail, but don't worry if you can't print it off because you can draw the fraction bars to help you. Here is the spicy sheet for today. You can choose if you want to do your work on the sheets or in your book. This is the hot task for today. This does involve you using your problem solving skills because for each fraction that you've been given, you need to write a pair of fractions that total the given fraction. For example, number 1, the answer is 2/3. So you need to add together two fractions which make 2/3. If this is a bit tricky, you can start with the spicy task and see if you can move on to the hot task once you've had a go at adding together fractions with the same denominator. Have fun! Here is your Miss Charman's Chili Challenge of the day. You need to work out what 3/4 plus 2/4 is. So as you can see, I've drawn my pictorial representation, so I've drawn the fraction bar, and I now know that 2/4 plus 3/4 is the same as 5/4, which we know is 1/2 and 1/4. Have a think about how you'd solve the answer to 5/6 plus 4/6. Make sure you use a fraction bar to help you. If you can have a go at doing this, you might want to have a go at 6/8 plus 6/8. You can also use fraction number lines to help you when you're adding fractions with the same denominator. Have a look at this for a second. You might want to ask yourself, do you prefer using the fraction rules? Or would you perhaps prefer to use a number line tomorrow? For our starter for today, we're going to start by chanting in fractions. 1/10, 2/10, 3/10, 4/10, 5/10, 6/10, 7/10, 8/10, 9/10, and 10/10, which is the same as 1 whole. So we know we've got 5/6 and we're going to take away 4/6. Again, I've got the pictorial representations on the screen to help you. The difference between 5 and 4 is 1. This means we've got 1/6 because remember, if the denominators are the same, when you're adding or taking away, all you do is look at the numerator. So we know then that 5/6 take away 4/6 is 1/6. We're now going to look at a new example. So 5/8 take away 2/8. Pause the screen for a second and ask yourself, what do you think the answer would be? That's right. The difference between 5 and 2 is 3, which means we've got 3/8 as our answer. We've now got 4/5 take away 3/5. We know the difference between 4 and 3 is 1, which means the answer is 1/5. We've now got 3/4 take away 1/4. We know that the difference between 3 and 1 is 2, which means that the answer is 2/4. You're getting good at equivalent fractions now, and you should all know that 2/4 is equivalent to 1/2. This is called writing a fraction in its simplest form. Pause the screen here and see if you can answer the calculation in your book. This is the mild task for today. Again, I've sent the sheets to your grown-ups through parent mail, but you don't have to use the sheets because you can draw the fraction bars out to help you. This is the spicy task for today. I haven't drawn the pictorial representations for you, but if you want to, you can draw the fraction bars if you think this will help you. This is the hot task for today. Again, there is lots of problem solving and there's more than one answer for each calculation. So you need to work out which two fractions have a difference of the fractions on the screen. For example, for number 1, you might say 3/3 take away 1/3 is 2/3. That could be an answer. But you could also say 4/3 take away 2/3 equals 2/3. So have a go at seeing how many different answers you can get for each of the given answers. Have fun! Here is a chilly challenge for you to have a go at. You need to add together the fractions on the screen. Here is a chilly challenge for you to have a go at. You need to add together the fractions on the screen. Here is another chilly challenge. You need to read the children's clues and match them up to the correct calculation. These are your answers for today's work. Hello and welcome to Miss Charman's quiz. It's now time for question 1. What is 100 times by 10? Is it A, 10, B, 10,000 or C, 1,000? And it's now time for question 2. What is 194 rounded to the nearest 10? Is it A, 190, B, 180 or C, 200? What is 1,000 more than 2,231? Is it A, 3,231, B, 3,631 or C, 1,231? What is 1,009 plus 2,001 plus 900? Is it A, 3,911, B, 3,910 or C, 4,911? It's now time for your final question. What is 12 times 9? Is it A, 104, B, 106 or C, 108? Today, you'll be applying your fraction knowledge to different problems. You can use rucksack to help you solve the problems, but I've added an extra R onto the word rucksack because you need to make sure you explain your reasoning. These sentence starters might help you explain your reasoning. I'm now going to go through an example of a problem with you. So Hannah says, I know that 2/3 is equivalent to 2/6 because the numerators are the same. I now understand what the question is asking me, so this means I need to underline or highlight the key information. I now need to choose how I'm going to solve the problem. It's now my turn to solve the problem, so I've now written out both of the equivalent fractions according to Hannah. So she said that 2/3 is the same as 2/6. Well, I know already that the denominator has been multiplied by 2 because 3 times by 2 is 6. So that's telling me that if I've times the numerator by 2, then it would be an equivalent fraction. However, because the numerator has not been multiplied by 2, this is telling me that Hannah is not correct. It's now time to check my answer. So because I know that the denominator has been multiplied by 2, I'm now going to multiply the numerator by 2. So 2 times by 2 is 4. So this means that 2/3 is equivalent to 4/6. Now time to put my final rucksack on, so I now need to explain my reasoning. So I have said, I know that 2/3 is not equivalent to 2/6. This is because the numerator and the denominator have not been multiplied by the same number. Therefore, Hannah is wrong. I'm now going to model to you another example of a problem. Some of you will be having a go at solving this later. So it says use the digit cards to complete the I'm going to start by choosing the digits 1 and 2. So I now need to work out how many equivalent fractions I can make using the digit cards which are equivalent to 1/2. I know that 1/2 is equivalent to 4/8. This is one possible answer, but it says how many different ways can you find? This means that I would then need to use my problem solving skills to work out how many different equivalent fractions I can find. However, because some of you will be having to go at this later, I'm not going to give you any more examples. I have checked that my answers are right by drawing the pictorial representations of the fractions. So you can see I've got 1/2 is equivalent to 4/8. So you can visually see that they are equivalent. These are the mild tasks for today. Answer as many of them as you can, and these sheets have been sent to your grown-ups through parent mail. These are the spicy problems for today. Answer as many as you can, and these sheets have been sent to your grown-ups through parent mail. These are the hot problems for today. Once you've had a go at completing them, you can have a go at seeing if you can answer the chili challenge. Well done, Year 4. You finished your 5th week of Maths at Home. Make sure you share your learning with me through Purple Mash. And I hope you have a lovely half term.